Hey everyone, Christina Del Rey with your forecast for the week of January 11th, 2020. Very big week in astrology. I think that perhaps myself and some other astrologers as well, perhaps we underestimated the astrology of last week. But the truth of the matter is, I think now that Mars is in Taurus along with Uranus, and even though they're not quite together yet, they are going to meet in the sky, so they are applying to each other. And this is going to be big shakeups and unpredictability, and possibly even violence, I hate to say. So there are a lot of unpredictable energies going on, especially for January and February. It does look like it will get a little bit better after that, but there will be social unrest probably pretty much all year. I honestly did not expect what happened in the nation, in the United States, until like the 20th or around the 20th of January. So it will be interesting to see how that energy manifests on that day. But for this week, we have a new moon, and it's a very significant new moon because if you remember, we had the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in January last year. It was right around exactly the same time. And this is what, like, we didn't know it at the time. I mean, astrologers predicted that there was going to be a major restructuring, but we didn't know exactly what it was going to be. So think back to January of last year when you had really no idea that a wrecking ball was coming through your life. And, you know, you were kind of like, we were kind of like sitting ducks, really. You know, even though astrologers knew that something big was coming, we just couldn't really put our finger on it. We really knew that what I kept thinking was, you know, Donald Trump was going to go down, or, you know, like the structure, the political structure was going to go down. And that was true to some extent, but it was a lot more than that. So anyway, this new moon is going to reactivate whatever you were kind of blindsided with in January. So whatever you started in January, or whatever, you know, whatever that meant for you, that restructuring of your life, whatever completely changed, this is kind of bringing that wound back up. However, we're starting a new cycle on it, and we are hopefully going to manifest a new energy and rebuilding energy on that same degree. So the fact that this new moon is at the same degree just shows that, you know, the universe knows what it's doing. And you're going to be you're not going to be a sitting duck anymore. You're going to be aware of how you have to change, how you have to empower yourself, because this new moon is going to be conjunct Pluto, which is very intense. So intense emotions, you know, stepping into the higher manifestation of this is stepping into your power more fully, reconstructing your life. But this time you're doing it with knowledge. You are not, you know, just kind of sitting there and then boom, something happens and changes your life. It's more like you're empowered now. And Pluto is really about evolution. So what did you learn in the past year? How are you going to apply what you learned in the past year? The biggest thing too with Pluto, I think, is intentions. If you have good intentions, I believe that, you know, you'll get the higher manifestation, hopefully. But if you have manipulative, or if you have, you know, harmful intentions, then, you know, you might manifest the lower side, you know, of Pluto. And, you know, that can lead to all kinds of, you know, not pleasant things like, fighting and violence and things like that. So we want to keep it at the highest vibration possible. You're going to take what you learned and you're going to have a priority shift. You're shifting your priorities now. And the structures that you have built have been torn. How are you going to rebuild them? That's the question that this new moon is asking you. And you should set your intentions as well. And Pluto is very deep. It's very emotional and very deep. So it's important to sit with that energy. And, where was your power taken away? How are you going to take back that power? So we have this, and then we have Mars, in Taurus along with Uranus, and that is shakeups in foundations, money, shakeups, shakeups in resources, because Taurus is all about resources. So there's going to be those, there's going to be that instability or that unpredictability. And as if this new moon wasn't enough, conjunct Pluto, we're also going to have Uranus go direct like a day later. So Uranus going direct is going to be all about freedom and independence from a situation that it's going to be empowering. It's going to free you, and it's going to free you from some wounds as well. So we have a big week in astrology this week. Let's see where this falls in your sign. Hello, Leo. So we have Mercury square Uranus on Tuesday. So this is taking place in a part of the chart for us that has to do with relationships and our status. So, this is not new to us, right? We have been kind of feeling the struggle in this area. So, there might be words, there might be a message that you get, and it may trigger you, speaking to myself included, and we might want to act erratically, or there might be some kind of communication problems that really kind of set us off. So, that it could be a shakeup of some sort that is not very pleasant. So, we're going to roll with it. Yeah, we're going to try to not overreact to it and be mindful. So, easier said than done, right? So if somebody offends you, or if somebody, and this could even be like communication device problems as well, but seems to be very frustrating. But it's probably more like somebody in a relationship offends you somehow. So like we said, try not to say something that you can't take back. And on Wednesday, we have the new moon that is taking place at exactly the same degrees as Pluto Saturn in January 2020. Now, in January 2020, I had no idea what was going to happen that was going to restructure my entire life. And I'm sure that many of you didn't either. But nonetheless, it happened. And for us, it takes place in the part of the chart that is has to do with our health and our day-to-day work environment or our day-to-day routines. So, whatever was kind of obliterated there, we have to start new intentions. We have to rebuild. We have to start empowering ourselves, in our health, in our daily routine, in our workplace. So we have to take what we learned and apply it and have set it with good intentions. There has to be a priority shift, and we have to evolve somehow. So we're not going back to the person that we were before January 2020. We are integrating new lessons and becoming a new person. And this time we're not we're not clueless. We know now what we have to do. And we have to rebuild the structure of our day-to-day routine, our day-to-day lives. our dated, our health routines. These are things that we have to restructure. And we're going to see this in a new light as well. And wounds are definitely bound to come up, for sure. We have Chiron, squaring Venus. So there could be wounds that, have to do with legal matters, or, matters that have to do with higher education, philosophies, travel, okay, that are, connected to this somehow. But we have to look at them, and we have to kind of shift our priorities and our relationships, and could even be, money too. And we have to go about it in a different way. And then the next day, Thursday, on the 14th, we also have Uranus going direct. So you definitely are going to feel this energy. I think everybody will. Uranus going forward, I think, tends to shake us free from something. So this could be freedom of your reputation. This could be freedom of your status. But this is related to events that happened in August, because think about what was going on in August, and Uranus was retrograde. It went retrograde then. So now it's going forward. So now shaking you free from something that has to do with either your job, your status, your reputation, or how we know you in the world. And Uranus in Taurus has to do with resources too. So it's probably connected to resources or money in some way, shape, or form. And relationships, because Venus is involved. But it's a good kind of freedom, and it's going to make you independent and love yourself more, or at least walk towards independence and loving yourself more, and respecting yourself more. All right, so this is the major astrology for the week, but I do believe it will be a great week.